What do you do when you really don't feel like doing something, but you just know you have to? I was in a breathwork ceremony today, and it was probably one of the most profound experiences probably my whole life. And that's a big call, right? Because I'm married. I've got 2 beautiful children. But as far as the personal development element of me, this was definitely right up there. This was one of the most profound experiences of my life. I was crying at one point, a couple of points actually. Shaking. I had goosebumps. I was tingling. It was an incredible experience. I was dizzy. When I stood up after, I kind of couldn't stand up for a while. I had to kind of sit down and wait for my body to kind of re-regulate itself. Really, really powerful experience. And kind of as a result, I didn't want to do this video today. Now the beautiful thing about the breath work is it was planned, but it came at a time this morning and there was some friction with Sati last night, and it kind of got into this morning, and we went out for coffee and it was still kind of there. But the beautiful thing about when me and Sati have any sort of conflict is we always know that we always go for the higher purpose. I always feel for couples, people that are married, people that are in relationships, and maybe they don't make it, the relationship breaks up. I always feel sorry for them, because I always feel like I just have this really strong belief that most relationships don't break down unless the person commits some kind of infidelity, in which case, let me elaborate and say why I still don't think that's the fundamental problem. I think most relationships break down because there's some issue that is unresolved from a person's past, and they brought that into this current experience, and because they haven't healed that wound from kind of back on their timeline, it's the energy of that experience has come into the now, and it's created a filter, a lens of which they're looking at this relationship through, and as a result the relationship doesn't work. And one of the greatest things about my wife, and definitely for both of us, I can say, is that we always look for the higher purpose, or the deeper purpose, right? Always go deeper. What's the real issue? So when we had this kind of snappy little thing last night, snappy little thing this morning, we knew there was a deeper issue, which is not really about us. And we were able to kind of figure out what that was. I won't go into that, it's not relevant. But anyway, I did this breath work, which is probably what was why it was so profound, was because of what was the emotional block that was coming up, that was creating the conflict with Sati. On another day, the breath work might have been like, I might have gone, oh yeah, it was a great breath work, it was really fun, it was really powerful, but it was really good. Like, I really needed it. And so getting back to my point, I didn't want to do this video because I'm feeling vulnerable, I'm feeling tender, I'm feeling emotionally a bit raw after that. But I made the decision, I've got to do the video even if it's short, because a few years ago I did a program, a really powerful personal development program, and one of the blind spots for me, probably one of the biggest breakthroughs in that program for me, was around the area of character. Oh, the sun has chose to come right in. It's beautiful. Let me just put that down, see if I can help with the sun a little bit. Maybe not, we'll keep going. I did this program and there was a section in there around character, which in a nutshell is kind of like the cliched do what you say you're going to do type thing, right? Character is like congruence, action speaking louder than words, doing what you say you'll do, that type of thing. And that's an area where I recognized as I went through that program that was an area that I had a lot of work to do, because there has historically been a lot of areas in my life where I haven't done what I said I'll do. In fact, anytime I've ever heard anybody say, do what you say you're going to do, it would trigger the out of me. Like really triggers me. And I never knew why. And now I know why, which is because there was an incongruence in me from childhood. There was an internal friction and internal conflict that needed resolving and working on. And by working on it, it's helped to unlock some of the blocks that were happening in my character. You see, my intent has always been pure. And maybe you can relate, like if you're the kind of person that thinks you're a good person, if you consider yourself a good person, but you've ever said you're going to do something and then you don't follow through, there's an incongruence, meaning there's kind of two parts in you and they're kind of in conflict with each other. So I don't want to make this video about me, but one of the reasons I did this video is because I'm aware of that and because I wanted to do this for myself. So one of the biggest things I've learned about doing stuff, like yesterday's video I spoke about goals, and one of the biggest things that I've got is if there's an area of your life where you're scared of, fearful of, procrastinating on, here's what I believe. You have to do it. You have to. Because every time you don't do something that you say you're going to do, when you know, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about a friend invites you out to do drugs and you say you're going to go and then you don't. Like, that's probably a good thing, right? Because that's clearly not. It's clearly your intuition saying that's not right. But if let's say you're going to do something, let's say you're here and you're in my coaching community and you said to yourself, I'm going to do a certain amount of invitations to invite people to a coaching experience with me, and then you don't do it. Every time you don't do something that you know is, Tony Robbins talks about this. He says there's like four classes of experience. The key things we want to focus on are the ones that are good for you, good for others, and serve the greater good. And second to that, we want to work on things that are good for you, good for others. The first one is good for you, good for others, serves the greater good, and feels good. Right? It's good for you, serves the greater good, is good, feels good, etc. It's all good. Second one is, which is actually where the growth is it's good for you, but it does not feel good. But it serves others and serves the greater good. So that might be inviting people to a coaching call. And you may not want to do that because you're unconsciously, if you're honest enough with yourself, you're scared of rejection. And that's not nice. It's not nice to be rejected. But you know that it's good for you in the sense that it may grow your coaching business. It's good if somebody receives it and says yes, because they get an experience. And it's good for humanity because the more people are coached, the better the world will be, I believe. So Tony would say from that video that our job is to turn class 2 experiences into class 1 experiences. So this video tonight, I didn't want to do it, but I know it's good for me, it's good for others, and it serves the greater good. And even though it does not feel good because of the breathwork experience has left me feeling tender and vulnerable, I knew I had to do it because this video is not about me. So when you think about the things that you don't want to do, remember, or see it like this: don't do the things that you don't want to do for other people. Do them for you. Do them to build your character. In the gym, there's an old cliche which is no pain, no gain. Now, I don't love the phrase, but in its original purest form, it was basically indicating that if you train really hard, your muscles and your body will improve and grow, and that will bring on what's called DOMS, which stands for delayed onset muscle soreness. DOMS are good. Pain isn't good. By what I mean is like you train so hard you injure yourself. That's not good. DOMS, i.e. you come home from the gym and you've done your abs and your abs are now sore, as long as you've not overdone it, you've just worked muscles you wouldn't usually work, that's good. So I believe that when you do things that you don't really want to do but build your character muscle, that's like building your character DOMS. So me doing this video at the end of the day when I could have very easily just sat in the kitchen and had a glass of wine with Sati, this is character building. Because there's been a lot of times in my life where I've said I was going to do something that I knew was good for me, good for others, served the greater good, but because it did not feel good, I didn't do it. And I also didn't do it because my whether it was good or not, or how it'd be received, was all intrinsically tied in what other people will think of it. If I was thinking what you would think of this video now, I'd be conscious of the sunlight, the fact that I'm back in the car, the lighting's not great, haven't got a microphone on. Consistency and volume of anything beats perfect, right? Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. McDonald's don't do the best burgers, but they're the best burger brand in the world. Why? Consistency, volume. They put out more burgers than everybody else. Does that mean that you should diminish the quality of what you do? No. But 7 out of 10 to you will probably be 10 out of 10 to somebody else if you're your biggest critic. So the things that you don't want to do them not for others, but do it to build your character muscle. Because your character will shape your whole life. The more you do things that you know are good for you, good for others, serve the greater good, but don't feel good, the more your self-worth will grow. The more your self-esteem will grow. The more you will value yourself. The more you'll be able to look at yourself in the mirror. And by the way, just to clarify, those people that are out there that are kind of attesting to the whole you are already enough. I'm not saying do to create a sense of filling a void that if you don't do, you won't be enough. That's not what I'm saying. Because I've done that. I've done that where I need to do to feel enough. But here's what I've found. There's two sides to this coin. There's the I'm enough if I don't do anything. And there's the I'm enough by doing something. And I kind of feel like we've come into this world, we've got one life. Should we not do something useful? Should we not do something that helps people while we're here? Should we not focus on making a difference in people's lives in this time that we have? Because we don't have long. We have no idea how long we've got. Have you thought about that recently? I'm just sitting here looking at the sky. It's been raining, it's sunny. There's probably a rainbow somewhere. And I'm just recognizing how lucky I am to have had 40 years. How many years have you had? I know there's a lot of people that don't make it to 40. I know there's a lot of people that don't make it past 1. I know that's kind of a big way to finish the video, but someone once said, you know, in the grand scheme of the universe, we're not even a grain of sand. We're that small. We're that positively insignificant. So it's like, it goes back to this thing I've heard recently about excess importance. Don't make yourself so important that you don't do anything. Just do good because you're a speck of sand. That's a motivational message. You're a speck of sand. That's what you are. So because you're a speck of sand, why not just do something? Because I believe you'll feel better about yourself by doing something than doing nothing. But remember, either way, you're enough. I just think, well, why not? Why not do something while we're here? If not for others, do it for yourself. Do it for the sense of knowing that you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I gave my best. Hope you enjoyed today's one. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this one. As always, I really love to hear your opinions on these videos. That's it from me. Have a great rest of the day. See you soon. Take care.